Hello everyone, this is Sam from Language Atlas, and in this video I would like to show you the Korean A2 vocabulary Anki deck. In this video we will go over three things. First, I would like to show the course structure of the Korean A2 vocabulary Anki deck. Second, I would like to show the course content. And third, I'd like to show you some brief system and editing options. Now, as you can see, I have the Korean A2 vocabulary Anki deck right over here. Now normally you would double click on an Anki deck to open it, but I've already done so, as you can see right over here. So I'll maximize Anki, and I'd like to begin with my first point, which is to show you the course structure. Now inside the overall Korean A2 vocabulary Anki deck, you can tell that there are 6 chapters, beginning with chapter 1 pronouns, chapter 2 verbs, then chapter 3 nouns and adjectival nouns, chapter 4 adjectives, chapter 5 adverbs, and finally chapter 6 determiners and endings. Now, if I go to chapter 3, nouns and adjectival nouns, and in front of it there's a little plus icon and I click on it, you can tell that there are subdecks inside of it, 20 to be precise, ranging from academia and intellect, arts and entertainment, all the way to time, maths and numbers, and transportation. Now what I've done is that I've categorized all nouns by theme. So if you wish to learn more about clothing and fashion, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about food and drinks, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about society and economy, you can do so. The big benefit of organizing everything by themes is that you're able to learn more about a specific theme if you wish to do so. So this is very much beneficial to you. So that is what I wanted to show you for the first point, which was the course structure. Now I'd like to go to my second point, which is to show the course content. And I'll do so by having a look at 3 Anki decks within the overall Korean A2 vocabulary Anki deck. I'll have a look at chapter 3 nouns and adjectival nouns. And to be a bit more precise, I'll have a look at home. Then I'll have a look at chapter 4 adjectives, and finally chapter 2 verbs. So before I get started with chapter 3 nouns and adjectival nouns and I look at home, there's one thing that I would like to say. Now this chapter is called nouns and adjectival nouns because Korean has some noun-like words that are descriptive. In English, they may feel like adjectives, but in Korean, they behave more like noun-based words. So that was a little note that I wanted to share. So let's get started with chapter 3, nouns and adjectival nouns. And I like to go to home. And we will get started with the first card. So this is the first card type. We see that there's a Korean sentence with a blank area. And it's your job to know what goes inside of that blank area. Underneath that, we have an English translation sentence. The bicycle lock is broken. And lock is bolded and underlined. And this means that you have to know the Korean word for lock, which goes over here. Underneath that, we have a visual representation of the sentence and the word that we're looking for. And this is done so because many studies have shown that if you have such a visual representation, it is much easier to understand and memorize the word and sentence that you're learning. So this is an image in this case, and this will really help you when it comes to understanding memorization of the Korean sentence and the Korean word. Now, before we look at what the correct answer is for lock, there is one thing that I want to note about the sentences in this deck. Now, the sentences are generally written in natural, learner-friendly Korean. However, many of them use the polite form, sometimes called heyoche. I'll explain more about this polite form later, but this is just something that I wanted to note right now. So, what is lock in Korean?
자전거 자물쇠가 고장났어요. 자물쇠.
Great. So we can see that there are 2 areas. First, we have a sentence area, and after that, we have a word area. I'd like to get started by explaining the sentence area. So over here, we have a Korean sentence with the correct word that we're looking for bolded and in the color indigo. Now, does this color indigo have a special meaning? No, it does not. However, the benefit of it being an indigo is that you're immediately able to spot the correct word in the answer sentence. So this is just a nice little visual cue, a nice little visual aid, so you can immediately spot the correct answer in the sentence. So we have the answer sentence with the word that we're looking for in indigo, so you can immediately spot the correct answer. Then we have an IPA notation of the Korean sentence. An IPA notation is here so you can improve your pronunciation. It is not obligatory, of course, but I do know that many people like to have such an IPA notation as well. And looking at it allows you to read along, and this can help you improve your pronunciation. Underneath that, we have an English translation sentence. And finally, we have audio.
자전거 자물쇠가 고장났어요.
So that is the sentence area. Over here, we have the word area. We have the correct Korean word. We have the IPA notation. And again, this will help with pronunciation. We have the English translation of the Korean word, so that is lock. And we have the audio.
자물쇠.
Great. There's one thing that I would like to note about the word, and that this is the base form or the dictionary form of the word. So this is the form you would normally look up in a dictionary. So if you want to look up the word lock, this is the dictionary form. This is what you would look up. So sentence, word, let's continue. We are looking for furniture that suits the new house. How do you say furniture?
이사갈 집에 어울리는 가구를 찾고 있어요. 가구.
Great. So we have the sentence area over here. We talked about this. We have the word area. We talked about this, but over here, this is a little bit new. Now, this is hanja. Some Korean words may also show hanja. Hanja are Chinese characters connected to some Korean words. You don't need to memorize the hanja to use the deck, but they can help you recognize connection between Korean words over time. So having a look at this will really help you as well, and this will help you improve your understanding of the Korean language as well. Please place the spoon and the chopsticks on the table. How do you say spoon?
식탁 위에 숟가락하고 젓가락을 놓아주세요. 숟가락.
Great. Let's do another one. Please hang the washing on the balcony. How do you say washing?
베란다에 빨래를 널어주세요. 빨래.
Did you stick a stamp on the letter? How do you say stamp?
편지에 우표를 붙였어요. 우표.
Students must write a diary during the holidays. How do you say diary?
학생들은 방학 동안 일기를 써야 해요. 일기.
Please tidy up the toy on the floor. How do you say toy?
바닥에 있는 장난감을 좀 치워주세요. 장난감.
Great. So one more time, we have the sentence area, which is the first one, and we have the word area, which is the second one. We have an answer sentence with the correct word that we're looking for in the color indigo, so you can immediately spot the answer. We have the IPA notation. This helps you with translation. Pardon me. This helps you with pronunciation. IPA helps with pronunciation. We have the English translation sentence, and we have the audio.
바닥에 있는 장난감을 좀 치워주세요.
And we have the word area, Korean word, Korean IPA notation, English translation, audio.
장난감.
And some cards may have hanja as well. Let's do the very, very last one. The bathroom mirror is too dirty.
화장실 거울이 너무 더러워요. 거울.
Great. So I could continue, but I think you get the picture. That was chapter 3, nouns and adjectival nouns. Now I'd like to go to chapter 4, which is about adjectives. Study now. And we see the first card type again. We see that there's a Korean sentence. We see that there's a blank area, and we have to know what goes inside of the blank area. We have an English translation sentence, and a certain part is bolded and underlined. Yuna is skilled at playing the piano. We have to know what skilled is in Korean. And we have a visual representation of the sentence and word that we're looking for. So, skilled in Korean.
유나는 피아노 치는 게 능숙해요. 능숙해요. 능숙한. 능숙하다.
Great. So over here, the first area, we have the sentence area. You're already familiar with this. Sentence, the word that we're looking for, bold and the color indigo. IP notation to help with pronunciation. We have the English translation sentence, and we have audio.
유나는 피아노 치는 게 능숙해요.
But now we see something interesting. We see that there are essentially two areas for the word skilled. Well, why is this the case? Well, this adjective card is a good moment to explain an important Korean idea. The difference between the polite form, which is what we see over here, and the dictionary form, which you see over here. Now, earlier with nouns, the dictionary form was simple. It was just the noun by itself. This is because nouns do not really have polite forms. In Korean, politeness is usually shown through sentence endings, especially on verbs and adjectives. The noun itself normally stays the same. So a sentence with a noun can be polite, but the noun itself is still just shown in its base form. However, when it comes to adjectives and verbs, and now we're doing adjectives. So however, when it comes to adjectives, this is different. Korean adjectives change form when they are used in sentences. So on the back of the card, you will see the adjective more than once. So you can see we have an adjective over here and over here as well. Now I would like to note that the polite form, which is this one, will be used in sentences. And this is the dictionary form. And this is what you will look up if you look for the word skilled in the dictionary. And please have a look at this ending over here. When we look at the polite form, you can see that there's a yo ending, which is here over as well. And generally speaking, polite forms end with such a yo ending. So this is a really nice little trick for you as well. Let's listen to it as well.
능숙해요.
So polite form is this one. It will be shown in the sentences and it ends with such a yo form, and you can read along over here as well. Now the polite form is an ideal starting form to learn because it is respectful without sounding overly formal. You can use it in many everyday situations, with people you do not know well, in shops and restaurants, with teachers, with staff, and also with people you know when you want to sound polite or respectful. If we go down, we see the dictionary form right over here. And again, the dictionary form is the base form of the word. It is a form you would usually look up in the dictionary. Now for Korean adjectives and verbs, the dictionary form often ends with the da sound. You can see over here, there's a da ending. Let's have a look.
능숙하다.
So, we have skilled over here, polite form, used in sentences. Skilled over here, dictionary form. This is what you will use to look up the word in the dictionary. They are not different words, but they're simply two forms of the same adjective. And one more time, polite form, this one will be used in sentences, and this one you will use to look up the word in the dictionary. Now you may have noticed that there's a word as well after the dash, which is this one. And I would like to note that this is also the same adjective, but it's just the adjective that is used before a noun. So think of a skilled teacher or a skilled musician. So I have included this because Korean adjectives often need a different form when they come before the noun. So sentence area, we have the polite form right over here, which gets used in sentences. We have the dictionary form, and this is what you will use to look up the word in dictionary. And sometimes you may find that the adjective is placed before a noun, and then you would use this one. Next one. My jumper is very soft. How do you say soft?
제 스웨터는 아주 부드러워요. 부드러워요. 부드러운. 부드럽다.
Great. So we notice we have the sentence area. See the correct word over here, and you can notice the ending. It's the polite form ending. We have the polite form ending ends with the yo. So we have over here the polite form, and again we have the form that you would use if the adjective is placed before a noun. And we have the IPA notation, so this helps with pronunciation. We have the English translation, we have the audio.
부드러워요. 부드러운.
And we have the dictionary form right over here. Please note the ending with the da ending.
부드럽다.
IPA and English. The hotel room is really tidy. How do you say tidy?
호텔 방이 정말 깔끔해요. 깔끔해요. 깔끔한. 깔끔하다.
Let's do another one. The traffic congestion is really serious. How do you say serious?
교통체증이 정말 심각해요. 심각해요. 심각한. 심각하다.
Please park the car in a flat spot. How do you say flat?
차는 평평한 곳에 주차하세요. 평평해요. 평평한. 평평하다.
The situation is worse than before. How do you say worse?
상황이 예전보다 더 나빠요. 더 나빠요. 더 나쁜. 더 나쁘다.
Great. So let's do a small recap. We have the sentence area. You can see that the sentence is over here and the correct word is used. Now, please note the polite form. Look at the ending, the yo ending. We have the IP notation, which helps with pronunciation. We have the English translation and we have the audio.
상황이 예전보다 더 나빠요.
We have the word in its polite form. Notice the yo ending.
더 나빠요.
We have the word, so in this case the adjective, we have the adjective that this is the form of the adjective that will be used if the adjective is right in front of the noun. And over here we have the dictionary form, and you use the dictionary form to look up the word in the dictionary. So dictionary form, IPA notation, English translation, and audio.
더 나쁘다.
Great, and of course the same system as well. Great, we have the IPA, English and audio.
더 나빠요. 더 나쁜.
So I could continue, but I think you get the picture. So that was what I wanted to show you for chapter 4 adjectives. Now I'd like to go to chapter 2 verbs. I'd like to click on study now. And again, we see the same setup. We have a Korean sentence with a blank area, and it's your job to know what goes inside of the blank area. We have the English translation sentence as well, with a certain part bolded and underlined. In this case, it is report. Employees report the results weekly. And we have a visual representation of the sentence and the word that we're looking for. So, how do we say report in Korean?
직원들이 매주 결과를 보고해요. 보고해요. 보고하다.
Great. So, the overall idea of the verb cards is similar as the one that we saw before. We see that there's a sentence area, and then we have the polite form and the dictionary form as well. So, the same polite form and dictionary form idea applies here too. And again, the form used in a sentence is the polite form, as you can see over here. And again, notice the yo ending. This is a nice little tip. So, polite form right over here, we have seen the ending
보고해요.
yo, you can hear it. And over here, we have the dictionary form, and this is the base form. You would use this to look up the word to report in the dictionary. Notice the da ending.
보고하다.
Great. So let's continue. Everyone acts quickly.
모두가 신속하게 행동해요. 행동해요. 행동하다.
I search for information in advance when going on a trip. Search.
여행 갈 때 정보를 미리 검색해요. 검색해요. 검색하다.
And great. So you can tell we have the sentence area, correct word in indigo, IP notation which helps with pronunciation, English translation, audio.
여행 갈 때 정보를 미리 검색해요.
We have the polite form, IP notation, English translation, audio.
검색해요.
We have the dictionary form, IP notation, English translation, audio.
검색하다.
And hanja. Weekends pass too quickly. How do you say pass?
주말이 너무 빨리 지나가요. 지나가요. 지나가다.
Colleagues celebrate the promotion. How do you say celebrate?
동료들이 승진을 축하해요. 축하해요. 축하하다.
I tidy up the messing room. How do you say tidy?
지저분한 방을 깨끗하게 정리해요. 정리해요. 정리하다.
Great. The number of tourists continues to increase.
여행객이 계속 증가해요. 증가해요. 증가하다.
Great. So last time, with the sentence area, we have the polite area. And so you can see over here, this is the polite form area. And you can see that the polite form has been used as well. The ending is a nice little immediate visual cue that you can use to know that's a polite form. We have over here the dictionary form. And again, notice the da ending.
증가하다.
And we have the hanja. And of course, the polite form has a yo ending.
증가해요.
Great. So I could continue, but I think you get the picture. So this is what I wanted to show you for the course content. Now I'd like to go to my third point, which is to show you some brief system and editing options. Now you may have noticed that all of the exercises we have done so far were fill in the blank exercises. You see a sentence with a blank area, and it's your job to know what goes inside of that blank area. Now for those that want to practice their spelling, there's an optional typing exercise. This is disabled by default, but I will show you how to enable it. So over here, we go to Browse, and then we click on the Korean A2 Vocabulary Anki deck. You can click on any card, it doesn't matter which one. So I clicked on this one. And if you go down, you can see that there's an enable typing practice field. Now, all you have to do is enter the word yes, and you get an optional or an additional typing exercise. However, entering yes for all these cards one by one will take a very long time. So I show you how to do it in a faster way. Click any of the cards, it doesn't matter which one. Control A or Command A, right mouse click, Notes, and then we will go to Find and Replace. So you want to find an empty area because it's currently empty, and you want to replace it with the word yes. And where do you want to do this? In the Enable Typing Practice field. So you want to find an empty area, replace it with the word yes in Enable Typing Practice. I'll click on OK. You can see that all the notes, all the sentences have been updated. And if I scroll down, you can see that there's a yes over here. So what does that additional or optional typing exercise, what does it look like? Well, let's have a look. I'll go to nouns and adjectival nouns. I'll go to home, and then I'm going to click on study now. So this is a card that we've already seen before. The bicycle lock is broken. And before we had to simply know what lock is in Korean, but now we actually have to spell the word, we have to type the word. So the second card type really tests whether you can spell the word that you're looking for correctly. So, lock in Korean. Let's see what happens if I enter the correct answer.
자전거 자물쇠가 고장났어요. 자물쇠.
Great. So if I answer with the correct answer, Anki shows it to me in green. This means that I entered the correct answer. So Anki gives you immediate feedback. So this is really a good additional feature for those that want to practice their typing or those that want to practice their spelling. However, what happens if I do not know the correct answer? So this is a card we've also seen before. We're looking for furniture that suits a new house. We have to know furniture. I'm going to enter an incorrect answer. So let's see what happens then.
이사갈 집에 어울리는 가구를 찾고 있어요. 가구.
Great. So what we see over here is that the first part of my answer is correct, but the second part, this is where I made a mistake. So Anki gives you immediate feedback. What is in green is what I've answered correctly, but red is where I made a mistake. So you can see where you made a mistake. And underneath that, you can see the correct answer. So this part is in green, so this means well done, this is what you had correct. But this was what I should have had. So Anki gives you the immediate feedback, so you know exactly where you made the mistake and how you can improve. So that is the second card type that I wanted to show you, the second one, which is about typing, which is about spelling. Now, this is really a handy feature for those that want to practice that. But let's say that you regret your choice and you want to go back to the first card type only, which was the fill in the blank one. So you don't want to have any more typing. How do you do that? Well, we will go to Browse, and then we will click on the Korean A2 Vocabulary Anki deck. Click on any of the cards, it doesn't matter which one. If I scroll down, you can see that the word yes is over here. Now, ideally, you want to get rid, now not ideally, you have to get rid of all the yeses, but doing this one by one will take a very long time. So again, let's do it in a faster way. Click on any of the cards, it doesn't matter which one. Control A or Command A. Right mouse click. Notes. And we will go to Find and Replace. You want to find the word yes, and you want to replace it with an empty area. And where do we want to do this? We want to do this in the Enable Typing Practice field. So find yes, replace with an empty area, and in Enable Typing Practice. Click on OK. I can tell that the area is now empty. However, now we have a bunch of empty cards. So we clicked on decks, and then we clicked on tools, and we will click on empty cards. We want to get rid of all these empty cards. We'll click on delete. Voila! All of them are gone now. So that is what I want to show you for the card typing exercise. There's one more thing that I would like to show you, and this is about regulating how many cards you see per day, and a little note on what the best settings for Anki are. So next to the Korean A2 Vocabulary Anki deck, you can see that there's a little option right over here. If I click on it and I'll click on Options, a pop-up opens. And I'd like to get started by showing you a little bit about daily limits. So if I click on if I go to new cards per day, you can see that there's 15 currently written over here. This means that every day I will do 15 new cards. If I want to change this, I can just do it by simply changing the number. Underneath that, you can see there's an area called maximum reviews per day. And this area regulates how many reviews you do every day. So a review is simply a card that you have already done before. Now currently it's 150, but I can change this to 300. Now please note that this does not mean that I will do 300 reviews every day. This is simply the maximum amount of reviews that I will do every day. So it could be that there are 10 reviews or 20 reviews, but there's a maximum at 300. If I click on save, you can see that numbers have increased. I can decrease them as well by going to options. And then let's say I do 5 and then I enter 50 over here. And if I click on save, you can see the numbers have decreased. Now, what do I do if I want to go back to my earlier settings? Well, I'll just simply change this to 15 and I will change this to 150. And you can tell that I'm back to my earlier settings. Now, new cards per day, I'll be doing 15 and maximum reviews, I'll be doing 150 maximum reviews per day. I do recommend these settings. I think this is a very fair amount to do, especially if you're a beginner. You'll see a decent amount of new cards, but it is not overwhelming. But of course, you can increase or decrease the amount that you'll do every day as well. Please choose a number that you feel is good for you, one that you think you can do on a daily basis. A little tip, whichever number you enter over here for new cards per day, do it times 10 for reviews. So I've entered 15 over here and I did it times 10 to get 150. If I scroll down, you can see there's an area over here called FSRS. Now, you can tell that I have it on. Now, what is this exactly? Why do I have it on? Well, FSRS is a new and improved algorithm. Anki has a default algorithm, but this one, according to many studies, is much more effective and much more efficient when it comes to memorizing the correct words and cards. So the algorithm essentially determines when you see which cards, and this algorithm knows a lot better when you need to see which cards, and this will help you improve your memorization. So I have it turned on, and for desired retention, I have 90%. So one more time, new cards per day, 15. Maximum reviews per day, 150. FSRS, I have it on, and desired retention, 90%. Click on save, and that is it. That is what I wanted to show you for this video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching my explainer video for Korean A2 vocabulary. You can get the Anki deck at languageatlas.com. I repeat, languageatlas.com. I will share all the links in the comment section and in the description, so you know where you have to go to get the correct link to go get the Anki deck. Or if you simply want to have more information, the links will be helpful as well. I wish you the best of luck when it comes to learning the Korean language, and have a great day. Goodbye.